Hi everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, sir.
Jaskaran Singh.
Good evening, sir.
I have been to Lakshay in last year in September, and I actually cleared my SSB in 10th attempt. To be very frank, so those people who think that after 4, 5, or 6 attempts we cannot clear SSB, being a repeater, it is difficult, and a lot of myths are there. They are just like nothing. It is not like that. When you go to SSB, they see you as a person, what you have been over there at that time, at that moment of time. So your past, how you did earlier, it doesn't matter at that point if you have improved. And for that, Lakshya Academy has helped me a lot. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit of how I come to know about Lakshya Academy. I was in an SSB in Visakhapatnam, and that was my second attempt for Visakhapatnam. Second time I was going to Visakhapatnam. And there was a myth that once again, if you again go for the same SSB board, you are not taken in. So I was screened in at that time, so that myth broke up. And unfortunately, I was not selected at that moment. I was conference out from there. But from there, I got to know some people who told me about Colonel Irveer sir, that they teach very well and all that. And I went on YouTube. I saw some videos and they were making really good sense to me. So I kept on watching more and more videos. And next SSB was for FCAT in Gandhinagar. And again over there I found one person. He was speaking so much good thing about psychology and all that. So I thought here there is something in this academy that people coming from there are having something different than others. Though he was not selected at that moment, but the kind of talks he was giving is quite good. I was impressed, and then I decided that I'll go to Yudhvir sir and talk to him. And I was doing internship in Delhi, so I went to sir. I talked to him, and he gave me a guidance at that time, and it was like a very different environment I was getting over there, because I could see that people over there are not being coached or guided, or not being told ki you do these things or only that thing, or anything like ki SSB mein aise kar lo, and attitude and positiveness was there. So from there I started my journey as in this academy, Lakshya Academy. And to be very frank, after actually at that time sir was having little problem and some medical problem, so sir couldn't attend. So at that time sir had called us in his room, in his home. So we went there, all of us, and he made us write a small story on a simple picture. And we wrote, and at that time sir told ki your story is good. And I was I was filled with enthusiasm and confidence that yes, I can make it. And one day sir called me in his room and he said, Jaskaran, 95% of people जिनको मैंने इस room से बोला है, they are now officers. Don't come in that 5%. And that was the word which I kept with me, and which I would say was like an eye opener for me, and I was completely filled with confidence again, because it was almost my 7th attempt that I was not being selected. And thereafter completely I changed the way I look into things, the way I observe. Every time sir will come and cross and he'll say ki, see the invisible. And every time he'll say 5 BRCC. And these are very small things which if you inculcate in your life, you'll see that it will make a big change in your outcome, in the way you think, in the way you observe, and the way the aura begins around you. So this is the basic thing which I found very different from other academies, if you see. And frankly speaking, in the class many a times we used to sit for late evening and discuss about different topics, maybe current affairs or could be TAT, VAT, SRT, or could be anything. Sometimes we used to sit in the GTO ground in the rooftop and discuss multiple ways to find solution on the same thing. It's just your perseverance, your hard work, and your passion to do it, which made me qualify the SSB in 10th attempt from Dehradun for FCAT. And fortunately, I always aspired to be a pilot. So I got recommended for flying branch only and Adam branch also. And I also qualified CPSS over there for the first time. So I do share my experience of CPSS too. But before that, I'll just give a brief about my SSB experience over there. This time when I went there in the SSB, I had two people from Lakshya Academy only. So they were with me. And this time when I went there, I was completely like a neutral kind of person. Like I am not coming there to get recommended. I'm just going there to do my best. That was my sole thinking at that time. Because earlier I used to think that this time I want to get recommended. That thing always made me do things which make me, which will make assessors ki हाँ ये बंदा अच्छा है इसको recommend कर लेते हैं. But now when I've changed the point of operation, that neither I'll go there for selection, I'll go there for doing my best. What they are asking out of me, I'll do that to the best of myself. This really changed this whole scenario over there. So I could sense over there when I was discussing in GTO, when I was discussing in PPDT, I could sense these things because these things were taught when I was in Lakshya Academy, when sir pointed me out many times in the academy as well. And that really helped me. So beginning the PPDT, OIR test, because I have been there for the 10th attempt, so OIR is quite the same every time. So it wasn't a big deal for me, but yes, if you practice it well, you do it very well. And always it is helpful if you get good grades in OIR. Thereafter, PPDT was conducted, a picture was shown, hazy picture. But this time, the imagination was like, I saw the picture, I just correlated with my life experience, what I have experienced in my life, and just wrote a simple story on that and narrated it. And discussion mein, you all know discussion mein, it is difficult in PPDT to take part in discussion, but still whatsoever I could have, I tried to express my feeling, my thoughts at that time. And I was fortunately screened in at that time. 220 was reporting and 70 was screened in. And out of that, 3 were recommended. And fortunately, one guy who got recommended was my senior. He was from my own college, my own university. So now he is in academy. Actually, he was also recommended earlier, and this time he was second time recommended. So after that, we was screened in. Thereafter, we had the same psychological test because in AFSB they conduct the psychological test on the same day. So in the evening, so everybody was cramming up books and reading from there and doing this and that. And I was chilled. I was neither thinking about these things, not that. I was quite just relaxing myself, completely relaxing myself. And in psychological tests, you all know we have that, SRT. And when I was at your stage, I used to think कि क्या लिखूं ऐसे कि यार जिससे हो जाऊं recommend. But now when I have been recommended, so I think it is not कि क्या लिखूं. There are hundreds of people getting recommended, hundreds of people getting recommended by writing multiple different things. It is more of your personality, your way of thinking, your way of processing the observation, your responses. It is completely your. It is neither कि ये लिख लेंगे तो हो जाएगा, यही कर लेंगे तो हो जाएगा. It is not like that. तुम्हारी जो सोच है, तुम्हारी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, जो भी अपब्रिंगिंग है, जो भी तुमने अभी तक समझा, सोचा, लिखा, पढ़ा, that is what going to make you clear the SSB. तो यही चीज जो है वो वहां पे डेवलप होती है. when you go to SSB, when you inculcate that 5 BRCC in your life, when you think the same thing from 5-point perception, your mind grows, and it is not going to help you only in SSB but everywhere in life. I have written a small sheet of paper जिसपे सर ने वो लीडरशिप की एक इक्वेशन दी हुई है, जिसपे लिखा हुआ है कि कैरेक्टर प्लस नॉलेज and pain equals to leadership. So इसके बाहर कुछ नहीं होता सर कहते हैं, इसके बाहर कोई लीडरशिप नहीं है. टेल मी एनीथिंग व्हिच इज आउट ऑफ दिस लीडरशिप. एंड उस चीज को मैं आज भी अपने लाइफ में रखता हूं. आई केप्ट दैट नोट विथ मी एंड आई कीप ऑन. whenever I am stuck anywhere in life, anywhere, any problem, I used to see that and just find out solution out of that. And everywhere, and you'll see that I'll tell you a little story also. When I was in this SSB this time, because psychological test, completely it was like whatsoever stories were coming, people were just not at all observing the image. They're just like images flashing, and at the same time they started writing the stories. But I was like looking at image, observing it very carefully, what is happening, what I think what is happening over there, what could be the situation, why finding out solution, why finding out questions about that, inquisitiveness is arising, and then what correlates to my life, I wrote that only. So that is what main funda I did over there, and psychologically it was good. That's why they recommended me. Then it was SRT again. SRT I did around 38 to 40 SRT. I think 40 SRT I did. So it is not the number which counts; it's more about the quality which counts. So although try to do 60 because you are supposed to do 60, but as many as possible. But I was about to do 40. I managed to do 40, and again I was involving my understanding and my observation from the situation, and I was actually putting myself in the situation that had I been in that situation, what could I have done? I will just share one situation. It was you are going by a roadside walk, cycling, and a speeding car hits you, and I wrote simply that I'll immediately try to shout and ask for help from the people around me, and make them to call my parents and my near and dear who can take me to hospital as soon as possible. And rather than कुछ ऐसा हीरोपंती ऐसा लगता कि हाँ वो गाड़ी का नंबर नोट कर लिया and all that, because speeding car is hitting you. How speeding car is hitting you means you must have broken your arm or leg, or at least you have been quite wounded, because if a speeding car hits you in a cycle. So putting yourself into situation, understanding what could have been there, seeing the invisible, what sir says, seeing the invisible will make you give the correct answers rather than being a superhero or superman over there. It is not about superman or superhero. The armed forces, the people over there, they are also normal people like us, but with a common sense, with a, a sense of being, like you say, they can see invisible. They can see beyond what other can't see. They can put themselves in this situation, in the shoe of the other person. That is what I feel it is required, and that is what is need to be developed. So that is what I practiced in all the SRTs, and then comes the SD. So sorry, VAT also is there, and again VAT was also a problem. I've seen people क्रैमिंग लॉट ऑफ थिंग की वैट में यार एक वर्ड के पीछे चार चीजें क्रैम करके रख लेंगे कि यही लिखेंगे, दिस आई विल राइट, दैट आई विल राइट. बट frankly speaking, that is more like your thought process associated with that word. There are multiple thought processes, like mother. If you get a word mother, so rather than writing what is pet, rather than what is generally people write, you write what is your thought about mother, what you think about your mother, your other mother, or could be any word, could be terrorist, could be crime. What you think about that word, what thoughts comes in your mind, That is what is required over there, and that is what we practiced. That is what sir insisted us to write. He never said you write this or that. Never ever. I've seen never ever told any you write this story. That sir used to say always. Uh, 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 जैसी जिसकी सूरत दिन देखी प्रभ सूरत तैसी
जाकी
आई
रही
एम
भावना
फॉरगेटिंग
जैसी प्रभु सूरत दिखी दिन तैसी.
हाँ जाकी रही भावना जैसी दिन देखी प्रभ सूरत तैसी. It is very very correct line because photo is not saying anything. It is your thought process which is making you write something. So जैसी तुम्हारी सोच रहेगी you will write that only. So it's better to work on your soch so that you improve, and you will improve, then you will get selected everywhere. It's not just one SSB, you'll get selected everywhere. And you will feel change in your life here. Big difference in your life. You start to see the world with a different perspective. So that is what you see in VAT also. And after VAT, you have, I was able to manage 60. Every time, 10 times I have been to SSB and I have always managed to do 60. But earlier, the difference was I used to do it like, ये लिख लूंगा तो अच्छा हो जाएगा, ये कर लूंगा तो सर खुश हो जाएंगे भाई, recommend हो जाऊंगा. That is what is not required over there. जो तुम्हें लगता है जो you are what you are, just present that self. If you, और सर ने एक बार ऐसे भी बोला था कि if you are a कौवा, be a कौवा, be a bloody fool. If you are a good person, be that. No need to be in somebody else's skin. Be in your own skin. So that is more important. That is more important. And in SD also, I wrote one SD over there also, and Kakkar sir, he helped me a lot. He said, at that time, he said that Jaskaran, you are having quite good, you know, instincts of being into technical branch of IAF. So I said, sir, I have applied for IAF for technical branch also, but unfortunately, I was not able to clear the EKT. So, but my main dream was to be a pilot. So, thanks to God that I fortunately cleared AFSB, and I got chance to go for CPSS. So Kakkar sir also told me how to write SD. How to write is not the correct word, but how to express yourself properly in an SD. How to properly express yourself. This would be the correct word, I would say. Because in SD, you see, you have 15 minutes, you have a whole bunch of papers, 2-3 papers they give you, and you can write as much as you can. And I would say you should write as much as you can, as much as you can express yourself. That is the time when you can tell the assessor that what. But don't think that you have to tell assessor ye mere mein quality hai ye. Don't think about that. Think only about what you are and just write that only. What I have experienced it. And that will help you a lot. That will help you a lot, because then you will not be saying anything, a lie about yourself, and you will be completely saying truth, what you are, what you feel, and what you have done in your life, and that will pretty much help you a lot in psychological test. And sir actually checked my SD and he wrote a good SD, but frankly speaking, at SSB I didn't write exactly the same lines. I wrote what actually at that time came to my mind, but it was, yes, it was inspired from the roots of what I wrote in the academy. It was inspired from that only. So that was with the psychological testing, and thereafter next day we were free, because in AFSB you have this kind of culture that you get one day free, and another next day for 2 days we were having GTO, and on the last day we were having conference also. So in GTO, the big difference I would say is when the first GD starts. You know, you must have seen that they give you a topic and then they tell you the 3 points regarding that. I'll just give you the topic. I remember my topics also. So I was given topic that what do you think that women empowerment, what do you think is the best, is the most important criteria for women empowerment? Is it the education? Is it the mindset of the people, or is it the reservation for the women? So everybody started shouting at that time. Everybody was telling ki, I think this, I think that. I was just quite relaxed and listening, because at that time GTO was giving, before this GTO gave briefing that you should discuss the points like you are discussing it with your teammates in a group, in a hostel, or in what do you say, in hostel, or while having a cup of coffee. So I just imagined like I'm having a cup of coffee and I'm discussing with my friends. So that really shifted my mind from a competitiveness to a really relaxed person. So I was relaxed, I was listening to what other was saying. And when I was completely made my mind, ki, I think this should be the main reason, then I spoke. And I learned one thing I would like to share it that might help you also, that rather than just picking up one point and speaking about that, you should take all the 3 points. So what I said over there was like, I think that education is the most important thing to improve the women empowerment, because once you give education to a child from the very beginning of his life, he develops a good morale, he develops a good moral values, he inculcate these things, which changes his mindset as he grows up. And when mindset changes, you don't need reservation. So all the 3 points come in one simple line. So this is what I personally used. I personally learned from Lakshya Academy, I would say, and I used there and in all my GDs, and it helped me a lot. And I was not able to speak many a time, but I just spoke 2 or 3 times at max. But whatsoever I spoke, I was completely within my limits and within what I feel at that time. So that made a big difference. And moreover, when you do the fataballi tasks, to be very frank, I don't know it is God gift or what, but I really get idea very soon whenever I see the obstacles. Because from the very beginning of my childhood, I am very inquisitive about uh, the machineries and lever and pulley and all that. So whenever I see these things, I just get the idea very soon. So it helped me a lot. I was having ideas, but again, it is not about ideas or not. It is about idea, but it is not only about ideas. It is more about your behavior. What sir told me over there, when I was doing GTO over there in Lakshya Academy, he told me that this current, it is not about idea. It is not only about idea. It is about behavior also. So how you behave with the group. So being arrogant, being like only I have the idea, that kind of thing really pulls you back. Rather than going with the group is more important. I've seen many times people are having equally good ideas what I am having. So rather than uh, saying ki nahi, my idea should be used, I say yeah, no, yes, good, your idea is equally good, yeah, you should go with that only. So that makes a difference between a person. So these things you need to inculcate not in your life, it will automatically manifest in SSB once you inculcate these things in your life. When you are discussing with your parents, with your friends, like if they are giving their viewpoints, you are accepting it. If it is good, you are accepting it. If it is wrong in your opinion, you are discussing it. So if you have these kind of mindset, it will really help you as a person also, and definitely as an SSP also. So GTO all went like this. Yes, in AFSB, I would say you need little high level of fitness to do the individual obstacles, because it is little hard to pull you up to they have rope climbing. So you need little good strength in your arms to do it in proper time. And you have one tire hanging through a rope and you have to go through it. So it also requires little good strength in your hands. Then you also have a monkey crawl. It also requires good strength in your arms and core. So I would say prepare yourself properly, but too much I would say ki you get injured, you get yourself injured, because over there one person broke his leg. So it is of no use if you broke your leg. So you should take care of yourself also, but at the same time try to do as much as possible. Because I remember I climbed the wall. There is a ramp and then you have to climb a wall. I climbed the wall and I was not able to balance myself. So I jumped back and I didn't repeat it again, because I know time will go off and I ran to the next obstacle. So I was able to do only 6. But still, it is your planning, how you are planning over there, how you are going through the obstacles. So that is what main main thing I think that is required. And at last, there is another thing which is very important, I would say, is uh, the lecturate. So my lecturate, I had a topic related to the UN Security Council, and then I had the topic related to my favorite road trip, then road safety, and then I think I had something which Indo-China relation also. So I was having good knowledge about Indo-China relations and all these things, but I chose road safety more important, more interesting topic to talk, because I thought that at that time that road safety is something like we all are at the age of 20, 21, 22 having license and we drive. So I think this is more topic which will make sense to everyone, and I might add few knowledgeable points to them. So I took that topic. I explained that why I took this topic, because most of the deaths in our country are happening because of road safety regulation not being followed. So part it is on us also, and part it is on government also. So how we can improve it, that is where the mindset comes. That is where I talked about it, what we can do as a person and what government can also do as their part. And that was that was it. And in 2.5 minutes I completed my this lecturate, and GTO sir then told us okay. And yes, I was called at last for the command task, but that doesn't matter because I have been called every time at last for my command task. Be it in any SSB, I have always been called at last, and I have been called by many of the candidates for help also. But I would say other time I was called last, but I was not recommended. This time I was called last, but I was recommended. So it is amalgamation of all the three techniques. It's not the only that if you do good in GTO or do good in psychology or do good in interview, you will get selected. It is all the three, amalgamation of all the three. So I was called last. I was given a tough task. As always, I was always given tough tasks. Every time I went to SSB, I was always given a tough task. Never given. And GTO will try to mold as much as he can. He'll try from this side, try from that side. You know, rope is not there. This is broken. That is broken. And somehow I was able to manage, because I told you I really get idea very quickly when I see the obstacle. Very quickly, as compared to what I've seen. But just God gift, I would say. And fortunately, I was able to do, despite of all the hurdles GTO sir gave me. And after that, GTO was over. And in interview, I would say again, earlier in interview, I used to be little fake kind of person. I'll try to show up things. I try to hide things that I feel नहीं दे तो गलत हो जाएगा, ये तो बोल दूंगा तो बोलेंगे तो बेवकूफ है. So I used to do these things earlier, but I later realized when I came to SSB, when I came to Lakshya Academy, that these things really doesn't matter. Every person has dark side is life. Every person has done some or other mistakes. Mistakes is what makes you learn and improve and grow. So that kind of mindset I took, and I was like, I have done these mistakes and I have improved these mistakes in this manner, and I am this person right now in front of you. And if you recommend me, then also it's good. If you don't recommend me, I'll come again. So this was my mindset at that time. And he kept on asking me questions. He kept on asking me about situational questions, about my personal life, about situations where I have been into conflicts with people, situation where I have managed to make people accept my idea, and I have managed to accept others' idea. And I talk completely frankly with him, complete frankly. I hide nothing I hide from my internal officer. Completely open. And interview lasted for around 45 minutes to 1 hour, I would say. And I was I was satisfied with my interview, that okay, whatsoever I said, I was completely true to myself. Rest is in God's hand. And in conference again, I was made to wait for another 5 to 6 minutes, and I was called, and I was not asked much. I was just asked, Jaskaran, which force would you like to join? And I said that, sir, I would like to join any of the three forces. All the three forces are equal to me, but one thing is there, that I will go for aviation only. Whether it is in the army or in navy or in air force, I'll go for the flying branch only. So they said okay, and they asked me what you're doing right now. I said, sir, I'm just preparing for examinations and SSBs for now, and also for the going for the studying abroad. So they said, okay, carry on and good luck. And fortunately, result announced and I was recommended. I was happy at that time. But again, the wing commander sir over there, I don't remember his name, but he said, you have another stage to qualify. We need pilots. So you have to qualify the CPSs. There is no other choice. So he filled us with joy and enthusiasm. And next day we had our CPSs. And I would just like to know from you guys, who all are aspiring to be pilot in any of the three forces, especially going for flying branch? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. 3 people have raised their hands.
Okay. So should I tell you something about CPSs also?
Sure, sir,
Yes,
sure.
please.
Okay. So next day we had our CPSs. It was first time. Obviously, you have one and the only chance for CPSs to be military pilot. It is important, and I would say don't take it lightly, because it is not that difficult and not that easy also. So you have 2 stages of it. On the next day, you will be called 7 a.m. in the morning with your mind fresh, and you'll have your first the cognitive test. Cognitive test, they'll test you for your ability to understand uh, different meters in airplane. They'll give you ample of time. They'll show you a video of 45 minutes, around 45 minutes, which will explain everything about the 6 important meters. There are 6 important meters in the airplane, which are very important in every plane. It is horizon meter, altimeter, then rate of ascent and descent meter, then your compass, your indicator, and these meters are very important. Any aircraft, whether it is helicopter, fighter, or any transport. So they'll tell you and educate about it. If you look carefully, you'll understand. And questions will be based on that only. So for
सर आपकी आवाज डिस्टर्ब हो रही है बहुत ज्यादा.
you have a now it is okay or not?
हाँ सर अब सही.
अगर कनेक्टिविटी इशू हो तो वीडियो ऑफ कर लीजिए, ऑडियो ऑन रखिए सर.
I think connectivity issue is not there. फैन की आवाज आ रही है क्या?
नहीं सर आपकी आवाज में बीच बीच में चली जाती है, मतलब अब सही आ रही है, अब सही है.
सही आ रही है? ठीक है ठीक है. तो where was I? हाँ.
6 meters.
तो, हाँ, 6 meters are there, and questions will be based on that. First 15 questions will be like, you will be shown 6 meter and you will be having 5 options indicating situation of the aircraft, like aircraft is flying at 1500 feet in heading towards southward direction at 400 knots and something like that. And four or five different situation will be given, and only one situation will be correlating with the meters. And you have to quickly see the meter, read the different lines which are written over there, and match it, and then give the response. And I would say just be very careful. Don't be very anxious and excited. Be relaxed. And if you have any doubt, do ask before starting the test, because once test starts, nobody is going to help you at that time. And the keyboard which you will use, it is not the regular keyboard which is there. It is their own custom made keyboard you'll see over there. ABC marking is there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and F1, F2 marking. They'll explain you all these things, and be very careful over there when they explain you all these things, and especially about the horizon meter, because people do confuse between that, because horizon meter tells you about many different things, because after that you'll have around 50 questions just based on horizon and the compass and the position of aeroplane. So after that you'll have bunch of questions like you did in OIR also, like some calculative questions also, like mathematical calculation, long mathematical calculation. It is quite difficult for me. I was not able to do more than 2 or 3 out of it. There were 15, I think, and around 2.5 hours of this test is there, and you have somewhere around 200 questions, 200 to 250 question, I would say, and all are of different kind of nature. You have visual questions related to the your non-verbal ability, your verbal ability, your spatial ability is checked, and it is all about how you process the information given to you. That is what is checked. And frankly speaking, it is so well designed that even if you give once, twice, or thrice, or 10 times, the score won't improve. It is such a good test. I haven't seen such test in my life. It's such a good test, such well developed and well designed. Even if you give it many times, you'll still score the same. It is that kind of test. And after that, once you qualify that, only then you will be taken to psychomotor test, the second stage. So it is very important that you clear that first test. And once the result is declared, we were taken to the psychomotor room, where you have aircraft type, the cockpit type light over there. You start to get feel that you are going into an aircraft, because ladder is placed. You sit into the chair. It is almost like a cockpit. You have a stick in front of you with different buttons, 2-3 buttons on that. You have a headphone to take on your head, and then you have pedals in your legs, and you have adjustment. You have your seat adjustment, you have your pedal adjustment. You can adjust, you can your adequate information is given to you. And once test starts, again nobody is going to help you there. So there is a screen, you have all the information written over there, you have all the instruction. Read it very carefully. I personally made one mistake. I'll tell you which mistake I made, but fortunately I corrected it within time. So it was all about not reading the instruction properly. So what was the instruction? There are 9 games. Precisely, if I'll tell you about each of this game, will take long time, I would say. So I'll just give a brief that the games are basically based on how well you can coordinate your eyes and your leg and hand. Whenever there are ball which is moving around, you have to keep the box, the ball inside a small box. So you have to use pedal to take it left and right. You have to use the joystick in front of you, these up and down for up and down motion. And there is beep sound coming in your ear at the same time sometime, and you have to press the fire button at that time. And there's also 2 buttons which are blinking, can blink anytime, and whenever they blink you have to immediately put also. So multiple tasks is being checked, that you are able to do multiple tasks at the same time or not. And at the same time, your periphery vision, your night blindness, everything is checked. It is very well designed task, and believe me, you do it thrice or 100 times, you will score that much only, that you have the skill you have. And it is more of your cognitive, your psychomotor ability. And also there are questions which check your memory also. So for 1 second the question will be flash, and the next second you have to answer the which was the missing number of from that code. These kind of questions are also there. So your memory is checked for how much time you can retain the letters. There is an app, I've heard about it, Brain Game, I think. You can download it. It might help to, I would say, just to sharpen, but it won't help to that extent that if you are but I don't want to dishearten anyone, but you try with Brain Game. It'll help you a lot. I would say it'll make you into that kind of bent of mind, and be quite freshed up while going for this test. And yes, what mistake I did, actually, in joystick you have 2-3 buttons, so I placed my hand on 2 buttons but not on the third one. And there was a task in which you have one a circle, sometimes it is circle, sometimes it is triangle, and another side you have another circle. It is slowly growing, or it is shrinking. So whenever you feel that both of them are of same size, you need to press that button. And I was not putting my hand on that button, I was putting hand on some other button, and I was pressing that, and nothing was happening, and I was not realizing this thing. And suddenly I don't know what God's helped me at that time. I looked down and I saw that I was having hand on some other button which is not required. And at that time I shift, and till that time I have already done 2 chances, so only 2 were left. We are given 4 chances of every task. 1 is for practice and 3 is taken as your score. So fortunately in last 2 attempts I was able to click it properly in right button. So these kind of mistake I hope you don't make over there, I made. So it will help. And this is basically testing your ability to do different things, and your ability of your hand and eye and leg coordination. And once you qualified, you'll be very happy. And at the time you will be sitting in the chair, you'll be completely baffled, I would say. But try to be calm, because being calm will help you. Even if you are not calm, then it won't help you at all. You'll get into panic. So don't panic at that time. I've seen one of my friend, he was not able to qualify it. He was getting panicked. So don't get panicked. If you're not being able to do it, wait for a minute. Don't jump into next task immediately. Wait for a minute, take a deep breath, and then go when you feel like going, because you have your time. Don't see if others have done it in 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you have to do it that time. Take your time. It is not at all going to affect anything. So I was the last person to come out of the room. Everybody did it before me, and out of that, 2 were not able to qualify it, to be very frank. So six were there, 4 qualified it, 2 were not able to qualify. And that was it with the CPSS, and that was with my journey. And also a lot of thanks to Lakshya Academy. I can't repay the things which I've learned from there. But still, if I can touch people, I can touch and help people who are there, who are aspirants, want to join defense forces. And if I can touch them a little bit also with my experience, I would say it is my good luck that I'm having it. Any question if anybody is having, I would just address it. And also, if you guys want me to talk about medicals also, I'll do talk in some other video if we have time. I don't know whether we are having time or not, sir.
Yeah, we will make a. Firstly, I want to tell you that you have spoken. Out of all the people who came and spoke, you are one of the best speakers who spoke so comprehensively and so honestly and truthfully. Very well done. Secondly, I want you to make a separate video and maybe send it to me. And थोड़ा सा light आपके ऊपर कम पड़ रहा था. अगर light पड़ेगा तो we will be able to see more clearly. So yeah, now you like it. तो मेरे से भी ये गलती होता था पहले. तो फिर मैंने धीरे.
Sir, actually I'm using phone, so that's I have to hold it like this.
हाँ, phone. I understand. So उसमें एक can improvise. You do innovation. You are very good at it. So just fix it somewhere.
Sure.
So you can just make a video on medical at the whole procedure, and then we will share it with the students. Let them benefit. आपने बहुत ही बढ़िया बोला. और बहुत आप सबको मैं बताता हूँ कि जब भी हम किसी को कुछ समझाना चाहते हैं तो हमको 2 चीजें करनी होती हैं. एक तो हम पहले लॉजिक देते हैं और उसके बाद एग्जाम्पल देते हैं. तो मैंने आपको कई दिनों से मैं समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, वैसे तो कई सालों से कर रहा हूँ, कि आपका विच अटेम्प्ट डजंट मैटर. आप आज क्या हैं. और मैं तो ये भी कहता हूँ कि अगर कभी आप फेल नहीं हुए तो फिर हमें ये नहीं मालूम आप फेल होने पे कैसा रिएक्ट करते हो. फेल हुए बंदे का हमें ये तो पता है कि फेल होने के बाद ये कैसे रिएक्ट करता है. डज ही गेट अप एंड स्टार्ट्स फाइटिंग अगेन और डज ही गिव अप? हमें तो पता ही नहीं. तो जो लोग ये कहते हैं कि फ्रेशर का बहुत चांस, मैं तो कहता हूँ सबका बराबर चांस है. यू हैव टू बी गुड. और व्हाई यू वर नॉट सिलेक्टेड? आप इतने अच्छे हो जाओ कि एसएसबी बोले यार ये पहले क्यों नहीं हुआ लड़का से. और दूसरी बात मैंने यहीं पर ही बता दिया था, जाओ सिलेक्ट हो जाओ, बस थोड़ा ये ध्यान रखो, इस पे काम करो, बाकी तो आप में कोई कमी नहीं है. बहुत बार हमारी डिस्कशन होती थी आज तक कि सर मुझे लगता है, ये सवाल थे बहुत ज्यादा. सब ठीक हो गए. तो एक तो लॉजिक में देता हूँ क्या, और अगर आप लॉजिक देते हो और फिर साथ में एग्जाम्पल देते हो तो दूसरा बंदा समझ जाता है. ये मैंने वीडियोस में ही बताया. तो मैं आपको क्या लॉजिक दे रहा था, फ्रेशर और रिपीटर्स डजंट मैटर. 10th अटेम्प्ट, 13th अटेम्प्ट, 13th और 14th अटेम्प्ट के 2 और लड़के हैं, उनका कहानी सुनाऊंगा आपको, मुझे याद दिलाना. जबरदस्त लड़के हैं. तो एकदम डंके की चोट पे मैंने कहा जाओ सिलेक्ट हो जाओ. दोनों सिलेक्टेड हैं और बड़े अच्छे ऑफिसर हैं. तो लॉजिक वो था और एग्जाम्पल ये रहा आपके सामने. और कितनी बढ़िया बढ़िया बात बोली है. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब बच्चे मेरे से भी अच्छी बात करते हैं. कभी कभी मेरी सक्सेस उसी में है जब आप दूसरे के दिल और दिमाग में पहुंच जाते हैं. इसने बोला कैरेक्टर और अंडरस्टैंडिंग. हालांकि मैं अंडरस्टैंडिंग को पहले, कैरेक्टर को बाद में बोलता हूँ, लेकिन देखा जाए तो कैरेक्टर सबसे बढ़िया होता है, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. दोनों मिलके पेन क्रिएट करते हैं. पेन सोल्यूशन लेके आता है, स्टेटस चेंज करता है, सोल्यूशन लेके आता है. इसके परे कुछ है नहीं. इसने बोला, इसने समझा ना पहले. तो 10वीं अटेम्प्ट में एसएसबी वाला 2 बार सोचता है, 10 बार सोचता है, लेकिन फिर अगर आप अच्छे हो तो बोलता है मन में यार इस लड़के को तो पहले हो जाना चाहिए था, कितना बढ़िया लड़का. तो जो लोग रिपीटर हैं चिंता मत करो यार. अगर आपको नहीं सिलेक्ट करना होता तो आपको बुलाते ही क्यों भाई, सोचो थोड़ा सा.